This is my 1985 Honda 200X. Gonna get the oil changed. If you want a shorter version of this video, I have one. It's about 2 minutes long and it just cut and dry, gets right to the chase. But to change the oil on this, the oil drain plug is on the left side of the machine. It is 24 millimeters, and I would suggest having a long socket or else the frame is kind of in the way. Purchased this machine last year, probably about 6 months ago. Haven't changed the oil. Haven't ridden it all that much because it has been the winter, but it doesn't look too bad. A little brown, doesn't have any pieces or nothing in it, so engine should be in good shape. As a little tip, you don't have to take off the skid plate unless you got a garage princess and don't want to get any oil on the machine. It drains right through that hole. So I pulled off the drain plug, just going to get it a little bit clean, set it aside. Now, I'm not super worried about being real clean right now. This is my budget project, my toys, so I'll take care of it as best as I can, but my practices aren't perfect, so it is what it is. Inside, behind the drain plug, is going to be a spring and a little screen filter. You don't need to buy a new filter for this machine. It is already inside. So once you get all that pulled out, most of the oil is out. You want to jump on the machine, turn the kill switch on, and kick it over. I think I kicked mine about 5 or 6 times just to cycle a lot of the oil out of the motor. Make sure you don't start it up and run it without it. After this, I wanted to get all this oil out since I personally haven't changed it and just get as much out as I could. So I'm going to hop off the machine and actually tip it over for a second and let as much oil drain out as possible. If you're wondering where I'm getting all this information, I have the manual downloaded. You can find it online and I will put the link in the description of this video. That way you can download it as well. You can save it to your computer and even print it off if you want a physical copy. Alright, so most of this oil is drained out. I'm going to drop the bike and put everything back in the screen. Mine does not have a spring, but a guy off the ATC Animals Facebook page is sending me one, so thank you for that. But I'm just going to put it back in here anyway. The assembly is with the screen first. The rubber piece does go in and seat against the motor, then the spring, and then the oil drain plug. And it's pretty good practice to stay clean while you're doing this, that way you don't get any sand or dirt on the inside of your motor. Wipe off around the oil drain plug before you pull it off, and then get this back on there. The oil I'm going to put in this is the same stuff I run in my TRX 450R. Depending on where you live, might change the weight of the oil, but the manual says 10W40 with adjustments for cold or hot weather, and you do need oil that is suggested for wet clutch. Looking at the back of this, it does look like it's going to work for me, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it since I have it on hand. And I'll probably run this in my machine from here on out since it works both ways for me. Now, the oil drain plug is only supposed to be torqued to about 7 to 14 foot-pounds, so really it's just enough to get it snug. Check your seal, make sure it's not broken and that it's actually there. Mine could be a little bit better, but as I said, it is a budget project. I'm not too worried about it, so I'm just going to put some fresh oil and then give that a snug. As I mentioned, you want to try to stay clean. I just got done riding this morning, so I'm going to clean off around the dipstick on the other side of the machine. That way I don't get any of the mud that I ran through this morning down in the motor. Pull this out. It's probably about 6 inches long. And just clean it off, and I'm going to set it aside, make sure I don't get anything on it. So I'm going to put it on one of these shop towels. Now from here on out, things are pretty simple. You already have the drain plug, the screen, the spring put back in on the other side. So clean off around the dipstick, pull it out, set it aside, put your funnel in. And this motor takes 1 quart of oil if you're just doing an oil change. If you got a fresh rebuild, it takes 1.2 quarts. Again, this is straight out of the manual. If you need that information or want to check it for yourself, just look in the description, click on the link and download it. I got my oil in. Now what you want to do is run the machine for maybe 2 to 3 minutes per the manual. That way it warms up, gets the new oil cycled through the machine. Mine's usually a 2-kick pony. I'm sure everybody knows that these machines got their own little personality, so 1 kick on full choke and usually 2 kicks on half choke, but motor was still a little bit warm from coming back riding, so it only took me 2 this time. Alright, let that run about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to turn it off and then check the oil level. So take one of these towels here, pull the dipstick out, clean it off, put it back in, and then pull it out and check the level. Pretty standard for most machines and cars. Now other than that, this is the long version of this video. There is a shorter one if you're interested in that. It's only about 2 minutes long. It just goes over all the same information but much faster. I've had this machine for about 6 months, doing a couple little things, so I'll probably do some more videos here and there as I do some changes. Things I've changed so far is that front tire, and then right now my quad is actually sitting on a cinder block because I stole the rear tires off it. I'm going to give that a shot and see what I like. So far the 20-inch tires I prefer over the 22-inch tires that come standard on this trike, but we'll make a couple more changes and see if I can get it dialed into how I want to ride it. So there we are, oil's within those hash marks, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this in here, call it good.